I'm Nedra Knurk, President of Futura RGV, and I want to welcome Trisha Watts, Director of Development and Communications for Habitat for Humanity of the Rio Grande. And Trisha Watts has worked in communications and sales with several organizations, including her work for the McAllen Chamber of Commerce and with the McAllen Convention and Visitors Bureau. I think I said that right, didn't I?
That is correct. Convention Visitors
And
Bureau, yes.
Trish is also important to me because she participated in the Futura RGV Forum on the economic impact of Mexican shoppers on the Rio Grande back in 2017. So we are very happy to have you back with us to discuss how COVID-19 pandemic is affecting so many of our neighbors who are seeking good, affordable housing. And so welcome, Trisha Watts. And now I want to recognize and thank the sponsors who help bring these future RGV discussions to you. And that's Clark Chevrolet, Rhodes Enterprise, Sam Garcia Architect, Frost Bank, IBC Bank, Rio Bank, Val Tyson, DHR Health, Ernie Williams, Code RGV, Copy Zone, and Upper Valley Mail Services. And this discussion and those of other Valley leaders are on the Futuro RGV Facebook page, YouTube, and social media for further viewing. And our moderator, Mario Lopez, who is a Futuro RGV board member, will discuss with Trisha how COVID-19 has affected our people who need housing as we adjust to the stresses of the pandemic. And so now, Mario, will you and Trisha help us understand how Habitat for Humanity is assisting our community to provide affordable housing when the pandemic has created a dire economic situation for so many? So, Mario, you're on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nedra. So it goes without saying that, when people asked us to shelter in place, there was a lot of families without shelter, right? And that's, I guess, the role that we understand of what Habitat for Humanity does. But Trisha, tell us, about Habitat and what is it? A lot of people knows that they build houses, but that's it. But what is Habitat?
Yeah, so Habitat for Humanity, at least our Rio Grande Habitat for Humanity affiliate, has been working on its mission here in the RGV since 1981. So several decades already, and I know that you mentioned the pandemic, Nedra and Mario, and it definitely has had an impact. Our mission is to make sure that families have a safe and affordable home to live in. And unfortunately, that is not the situation for many families, especially here in our Rio Grande Valley. So we aim to help less fortunate yet hardworking individuals and families who are in need of a decent place to live and who traditionally wouldn't be able to qualify for a mortgage. So what we do is we go ahead and assist them with direct financing through us at 0 to minimal interest rate, so that they can go ahead and be in those living conditions that are ideal for everyone, especially those individuals with small children to take care of.
And that's very important work. Now that we know that back in March and April, we had a lot of lockdowns and close downs and a lot of restrictions. Did that impact Habitat, and how did it impact Habitat? What did you do at Habitat, in order to continue fulfilling your mission, especially in such a dire time like this, when you want to provide those houses for people, you want to provide those homes, what was done during the pandemic? I mean, we're still during the pandemic, but, especially during the lockdown, did things need to be readjusted? What happened?
Yeah, most definitely. So we're primarily funded by donors and sponsors. And one of the ways that we've been able to continue to increase our funding throughout the past several decades is the restore that we have here in McAllen and the other one that we have in Harlingen. So our restores, we accept gently used to new building materials, home goods, anything that we can resell to, you know, the individuals in our community at a heavily discounted price. We will do that here. And the reason for that is because we use those funds to be able to continue to build those homes here in the area. So I mean, we've got big box donors as well, like Lowe's, Home Depot, Mott's Cash and Carry, McCoy's. We're very grateful to them because of what they supply us with. We're able to resell those and again, use that money to continue to fund our mission.
So even during these times, you still have had donors coming in and donate items and all that.
We've been very fortunate in that sense as far as people who are donating items. And because we do sell building materials, we are considered an essential business. So having the restore has definitely been a huge blessing. And then as far as any kind of additional impact, of course, we've all been impacted as far as nonprofit organizations because the donations are not what they were in the years prior to the whole COVID pandemic because everybody's been impacted for the most part financially. So we've also had to come up with different types of events because we can't have traditional events. We can't be in person for as much as we'd like to be with, you know, the members of our community and, you know, our business sponsors. So we've had to go virtual with a lot of this. We had a very exciting inaugural event back in the fall season. We kicked it off on World Habitat Day. And what we did is we purchased some very small wooden bird houses, and we had nonprofits participate. We had our very own Habitat families participate, along with business sponsors. They went ahead and used their creativity to decorate those homes, and then went ahead and gave them back to us so that we could go ahead and put them on display at North Park Lexus. And then after that, we went ahead and held a bid online. So they were auctioned off and we used those proceeds to, again, continue funding the homes that we're trying to build here in the Rio Grande Valley. So it was great that we were able to do that, and the support that we got from the community was just incredible.
That's very interesting. And I guess that's where I was going to, you know, like how has you know, fundraising been affected, you know, and you just described this exactly that, you know, the creative ways that the entire community has been coming up with, you know, doing events virtually or some kind of drive-through events and stuff like that. We've been seeing a lot of those things come up, and I think it's great that people have you know, lend themselves to that too, you know, participate even in the middle of the pandemic. So is Habitat still building homes during this pandemic?
Yes, thank you for asking, Matt. Yes, we are definitely still building homes even in the midst of this pandemic. Now, you know, we had put a halt on things for a while when, you know, it seemed to be at its worst here in the area. And then we started back up in late summer, early fall. And because of that, you know, we've had a couple of homes that have been completed already, and we continue to do what we need to do. The challenge, of course, was that we usually have a lot of volunteers helping on these build sites, and we had to keep that at a minimum because safety is a #1 priority, and we definitely didn't want to put anybody at any kind of potential risk.
Absolutely, that's great. So anything else you wanna share with us? You know, any story, you know, anything else? I know that we've covered, I think, about everything that we, you know, about what happened with during the lockdown, the pandemic. But anything you wanna tell us? You know, anything coming up new with with Habitat?
Yes, so actually, in talking about events, normally in the spring, we would have what we called Golfapalooza, which was our annual golf tournament. So last year we were not able to hold that, and that's why we came up with the Mighty Homes of Hope. This year, again, we will not be holding the Golfapalooza, but we will have a Rafflepalooza. So we'll be selling tickets for some terrific prizes, and we will use those proceeds to continue to do what we do here in the Rio Grande Valley. And then again, coming up in the fall, we're going to have our second annual Mighty Homes of Hope event. So, I mean, if anybody's interested in participating, we will have information up online. We've got our social media outlets as well, Facebook, Instagram. Those are ones that we use most often. And then, of course, you can always visit our website for any kind of additional information that you may need on the programs that we have for people who are interested in home ownership, and also any information that you may need on our restore. You can always contact us here at the office as well, which is the 686-7455. Our main office is located here in McAllen.
Okay, that is great, and that's the that's another thing that I wanted to ask was, so this Mighty Homes of Hope and these virtual events that Habitat has been doing, so they're becoming a permanent thing now.
Yes. Well, at least Mighty Homes of Hope definitely is. We hope that it continues to grow and be as successful as it was this past year, because it really brings a community together while still keeping everyone at a safe distance, and having them participate in some kind of activity. They're just beautiful little homes. We still have some of that information up online, and I believe even on social media through some of our posts that you can look at throughout this past October, November, and December.
And how can we find you on social media?
You can visit our Facebook page at Habitat RGV, and also our Instagram, which is Habitat RGV 20.
All right, excellent. Nedra, I don't know if you have any closing questions, thoughts, or...
Well, as I told Trisha earlier, I have been especially interested in Habitat for Humanity, and I did remember the name. Reverend Ernest Miller of First Christian Church was one of the founders, I believe, of Habitat back in 1981, and he was very much involved in it. And in fact, when we moved down here full-time in 1988, my husband was involved in building a house, or maybe a couple of them, with Ernie Miller. And
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I mean, Habitat is very near and dear to my heart as well, because my family were actually recipients of a Habitat home back in the early 90s.
well, you of all people know how important that is, and how
Absolutely.
it really can make such a much more solid community, and that's good for all of us. That's one of the things that makes McAllen and the Rio Grande Valley a very special place. So I especially appreciate you being on, and you and Mario exploring some of the things that you are doing to continue helping people in this very difficult time for an awful lot of people. And
Absolutely, Nedra. Thank you. Yeah, having a safe home to go home to is key right now. These times that we're living in have been so very difficult and tragic for so many, and we're just trying to alleviate as much of that as we possibly can.
And I think the pandemic has brought home to a lot of people uh, that home and family are very high priorities. They
Yes.
knew it before, but now it is such a gut feeling that yes, our homes and our families are very important. And of course, habitat is a very key component of that. So we thank you for all the work that you and Habitat are doing. And I certainly thank you for coming on and telling us about it.
Oh, well, thank you for having us on, and thank you so much for allowing us to share our mission with everyone else in the community. I know that it's very important to continue to bring that awareness to everyone, just because there's so much going on in this world right now. And if there's anyone out there, any family that we can help with what it is that we offer, that's what we're here for.
And so families who are hoping against hope that maybe someday they might have their own home, you better go see Habitat. They may be able to help you realize that dream. And so we'll thank you and hope to see you again.